I already wrote to the Lin, asking the Lin to reverse the decision of the board. The 27th, in 2 days' time, the Lin is going to have a hearing.
I have been a community pediatrician in North Scarborough since 1995. I was on active staff at the Scarborough Hospital, Birchmount campus, formerly known as Scarborough Grace Hospital, for over 18 years. I am shocked and utterly outraged by the Scarborough Health Network plan to remove pediatrics and obstetrics from our hospital. I want to make 3 important points this evening. Number 1, it is not safe to remove pediatrics from a busy community hospital. Our hospital has approximately 52,000 patient visits per year, including 9,000 children. During my 18 years as a pediatrician at the hospital, I was called on many occasions to see very sick, critically ill children in the emergency department, often in the middle of the night. With the help of emergency doctors, nurses, pediatric nurses, and respiratory therapists, I can honestly and proudly say that we gave the best possible care to these very sick infants and children. To this very day, the pediatricians at the Birchmount Hospital remain a very competent group dedicated to the welfare of children in this community. They are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and 365 days a year. If your child needs an operation such as an appendectomy, ear tubes, or tonsillectomy, you would have to go to another hospital. Why should our community suffer? We should have the same access to basic core services. We should not have to travel farther to other hospitals, which are already overflowing with patients. How about those families who do not have a car and have to take public transit to get to another hospital, especially when their child is sick? Ever since the amalgamation of Scarborough Grace and Scarborough General Hospitals, our obstetrics department has not had its fair share of resources. There have been so many cuts over the years. Prior to amalgamation, the obstetrics department at Scarborough Grace Hospital used to be a center of excellence, a flagship program of the hospital. It can be a center of excellence again, provided that it be properly supported again. Once again, I ask, why does our community have to suffer? Why should the children and women of Scarborough have to be the victims of so-called restructuring? In conclusion, I am here tonight as a community pediatrician to speak up for the rights of my patients in this community of North Scarborough. Many of them cannot speak English, but they deserve the same care as all families in this city. I wish to reiterate, number 1, in a busy community hospital, it is not safe to run an emergency department without pediatrics and obstetrics.
My name is Jennifer Lerma, and I am an ER nurse at the Scarborough Grace Hospital. As a frontline worker, I want you to hear it from me, how this change will affect your care. Without a pediatric unit and without a family birthplace unit, I cannot provide the best care possible. I cannot provide the safest care possible. I cannot provide you 100% care. I can only provide you some of the care you need. If your child is sick and needs to be admitted to the hospital, I cannot provide you the proper care at the Scarborough Grace because of the planned closures. Closing the pediatric unit does not give the children of this community 100% access to the care they need and deserve when they are sick. Closing the family birthplace unit does not give 100%
My name is Lisa
access.
Solomon, and I'm an emergency physician at the Scarborough Health Network. I've worked at the Birchmount and General Emergency Departments for the last 12 years. I look around the room and I want to thank all of you. Thank all of you for coming here, for showing that you care. For showing that you care about this hospital, for showing that you care about the community, for showing that you care about the children and women of Scarborough. Every single one. Why should we be any different? The chiefs of many of the emergency departments in the GTA have stated it is below the standard of care for a community emergency department the size of the Birchmount to not have 24/7 on-site pediatric and obstetrics coverage. That is wrong. And as I conclude, I want you guys to remember, women's lives matter and children's lives matter. Thank you.
My name is Denis Nanou. I am the president of the Eatwood Ratepayers Association. You are currently in the Eatwood Ratepayers area. The community goes from McNichol to Steeles, from Kennedy to Burton. These two core services, as you just heard from my friends in here, are essential to the emergency department all over, of all other community hospitals within the GTA. We do not believe the administration when they say that they will keep the emergency open or operating with high standard of care when anesthesiologists, obstetrician, and pediatrician are not readily available anymore. That there is a clear management issue at the heart of the problem. With massive amounts of residential development, we are talking of 17,664 units that are planned for the area north of the 401, patient pediatrics unit at the Scarborough Health Network Birchmount Campbell. We also request the Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care to intervene. We demand that the Scarborough Health Network not only continue maintaining the obstetrics and pediatrics at Birchmount, but that they provide adequate obstetrics and pediatric resources and support for excellent care as recommended by the expert panel in 2013, and that they stop providing...
I say that grace is one of the pillars in our community. This morning my wife came to the hospital to have a procedure done. And like Lisa, our family doctor, Miriam Moss, is on the emergency team. So what we find really strange is we love this meeting. We love the communication. But we got a call from the chief of staff from the Scarborough Health Network. He called us to tell us that the emergency or the pediatrics will not be closed. How do we trust this person or Doug Ford?
Folks, you got to understand, if I may, if I'm wrong, please correct me. This is not a political decision. This decision was taken by the board behind closed doors, and when we challenged them 2 hours before, they went public. So this is not a decision that was a political one.
It concerns me actually that the hospital's using taxpayers' money to do robocalls. I don't know about that. Better served using patient care, maybe increasing the nurses to the pediatric and obstetric department that they're so lacking. But nonetheless, this did pass. I was at the board meeting. I went, I listened, and I heard them say to pass the motion to close obstetrics and pediatrics at the hospital. It's on the hospital website. You can look on the hospital website and you can see the board meeting.
And it's authority to make a decision that concerns the whole population without there being a public vote.
The Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care, but it is amazing to see how different the board is than it was during the time that I served on the Community Advisory Council and also with the board. This hospital, the Scarborough Hospital, used to be from 2007 to 2008 to 2015 was an open corporation where, you know, as chair of the CAC, I had time reserved to speak on behalf of the community at every single community advisory council or board meeting. I mean, monthly board meeting, we could go and give them feedback on some of the plans that they were discussing and things like that.
So Grace one night because I was having a heart attack. The Grace took care of me. They loaded me up with the aspirins, all the sensors. I went off to Centenary to have the stent put in. They brought me back to the Grace and I was looked after for 5 days there. My mother was also in the same hospital at the same time.
Cheryl, and I am a community volunteer with Chesterly Community. I want to take the time to thank all the doctors and the frontline staff of the triage who I've seen many a time with many of my kids. My question is, how do we actually put a stop to these closures?
Before you leave, we will give you instructions.
Who do they report to, the board? I mean, this is certainly not, we are not in a dictatorship country here, right? A democracy. Who do they report to? There must be some sort of a process of accountability for them as well. Or are they not accountable at all and they can just make decisions at their whim?
The ministry, so the government, so the Ministry of Health.
Right. I was one of the people who did receive the robocall, and I was quite annoyed. My question was, where did he receive my phone number from? And did he get it from my health records, as I had been a former patient? So is my privacy breached? I would really like to know that.
About what is the reasoning behind why the board, what's like a real reason that they're even deciding to shut this down? Why are they prioritizing money restructuring over people? And I'm sure they have some kind of internal investigation or review to make these decisions. How do they do that if not consulting the public? And why did they decide to close obstetrics and pediatrics? Nothing should be closed, of course, but why do they choose such boards where the most vulnerable people need to make
A month and a bit ago, she gave us a simple question. She said, there's 3 hospitals in the Scarborough Health Network. There's the Grace, the Birchmount, and the Centenary. The Centenary and the Birchmount and the General are both 5 kilometers apart, I think. And then the Grace is like 12 kilometers north, and there's nothing near it. She said, if they close pediatrics and obstetrics, where will they go? And it doesn't make sense. So my question is, if this is such a blooming population here, why would they close it?
Until the date of January 28th night, my pregnant wife, she has emergency erupt of the water. So it happened at midnight at 3 o'clock. The question is, if they want to stop and close the pediatric department, and is any way we can reverse that decision, and I believe it's up to the politicians or a lot of community leaders to fix it. Thank you very much.
Invested in a panel review of our Scarborough Birchmount campus. And it is public document, and if any one of us goes into that document again 3 years later, which I'm sure had an investment of money to create this document, for panels to do this kind of work, to talk about what is needed, the gaps, the needs of our community, and then these fancy documents are created, why are we not referring to them rather than just spending money and having these dusty documents on shelves?
I asked your patience, that's it, no more questions. We're talking about the same thing, but the thing is, what are the next steps? I got some political colleagues here who want to take up the word.
And shared with them your petitions that you sent me. So this is what's happening. I'm quite upset with this decision, the way it was done, and I already wrote to the Lean, asking the Lean to reverse the decision of the board. The 27th, in 2 days' time, the Lean is going to have a re-vote to the Lean, asking the Lean to reverse the decision of the board. And they are going to 27th, I will be there. I will be there, and I'm going to defend the interest of our community. The next step now in this process is at the hands of the Lean. So we will take it, we will see what happens there, but your input, your participation is very critical. But also I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to my colleague Vincent Key for being here to support me and support you. And I will give him the opportunity to say
Thank you. You know what? The reason I come to here because I really want to support my colleague and support Tim. Last Friday we have a meeting in our office. We discussed about subway because we care the subway line extension from Scarborough to Scarborough Town Center, and we're working together. We try to work hard to move ahead, and that's what he told me about this story. And they said there is a town hall meeting here, and I said I will come to support because I'm very proud to. I have so many questions. I'm very proud for you to spread out. And in my opinion, everything they decide to do or they decide to want to do, they must be based on the best interest of the local resident. And that's one thing. I'm very disappointed what Jim just said. They invite them so many times, but why no one is come to listen to what the people really care about them? Okay, so I'm very proud of you, and I hope the voice will speak loud, and finally they really can hear it and change their mind. Thank you.
Dear residents, I can assure you that this decision of the board, it has nothing to do with the government. There was no consultation with the government. It was purely board decision.
Whoa. G here, the member of parliament.
Good evening. I'm very pleased to be here instead of in Ottawa. It is wrong to close the obstetrics and pediatric board at the Grace Hospital, and that's why I'm here today. And I can see by the great turnout today that you have fabulous community spirit, and I am touched, as many I'm sure you are, of the heartwarming testimonials here today. How many of you women have been in labor while in a car? Okay, I see a few. So I'm going to put my hand up, and I can tell you, it is excruciating to have contractions and to be traveling in a car. For men or other people who have not had a baby, try kidney stones. It's about almost the same. So every kilometer, every minute that you're having a contraction, it means a great deal. So that's why having a local hospital is very, very important. It's important. It's important to give women choice. It's important to be able to serve children. Like Lisa said, that it is important that consultation among the community and with the government be included. Now, the federal government transfers healthcare money to the provinces, and so we do not have the ability to participate in the local matters. But that being said, I feel that you as a community can give voice to Scarborough Agincourt to make sure that local health care stays here, and it's quality care that you all deserve. So, I encourage you all to give your voice and show your support for the local hospital at the Lynn, tell the provincial government, and also write or call the Scarborough Health Network. It is important that your voices be heard because this hospital is important. Thank you very much.
Some of you, or all of you, might want to go to the Lynn. That's the address. It's on Wednesday morning, February 27th at 11 o'clock. In Whitby. Unfortunately, personally, I sit on the TTC commission. As a commissioner of TTC, I got to make sure that I'm there because we want what along Shepherd? I didn't hear you. Subway. There you go. So It's up to you to be there.
James, you chairman, who wasn't there at the time, but they have this information in their file. They have seen the petitions of our doctor and all of it. So it's important. If you could make it 900 Champlain Court, Whitby, Ontario, and be careful because there is a Champlain Court also in Ajax, and sometimes it's confusing. So it's further down at Whitby, and you have the postal code there. The meetings start at 11, and they break at 12:30. So my presentation
Before you leave, there's packages. If we do not have enough packages, you can either phone my office tomorrow morning or leave us your phone number and we will deliver the packages. You can go to my website and you can download a petition. And unlike something that I know, my petitions are real. We ask people for their name and their email. Anyway, look, I'm moving on for another half an hour. The doctors will be here before I see people leaving without packages. I'm not happy. All right, thank you, folks. Thank you for coming. Don't forget, there's some snacks outside.